What's up, guys? It's Cam Gwinology, and today I'm talking about Big Ten basketball as promised. And I need my phone for this. So let's go into this article that I was looking at by Bleacher Report for their preseason's rankings, or not rankings, but preseason look at their conferences. And according to this article that is by, this is a long one, so I gotta scroll a long way, by Kerry Miller, posted in October, for preseason favorites for conferences. According to this, the Big Ten Conference was the number 2 hardest conference in the NCAA, which I could see, and you can make the, assumption that they're going to be one of the top conferences. The Big Ten, year in and year out, is always really good at basketball. They turn over great talent. They always have good talent. And according to this, when we're looking at it, their Bleacher Report's favorite to win the Big Ten championship is Michigan State, which totally makes sense. Totally understand why they would put that. Michigan State, year in and year out, has a good team. Tom Izzo is a great coach. It's not much to really say else about Michigan State. I root for them when Michigan's not playing against them. They're a good team, and they're going to be good, and they're going to continue to play good as long as Cassius Winston continues to play good. So, based off that, let's see where they are right now. So the Big Ten started off really, really hot. A lot of teams started off hot. Michigan started off really, really hot. Michigan State has been playing really good. And Ohio State started off really hot. But a couple of these teams have cooled down tremendously, including Michigan and Ohio State. They have both really, as of late, been kind of struggling when it comes to Big Ten play, at least. Looking at the conference standings right now, as predicted, Michigan State is in first place at the moment with a record of 8-2 in the conference, overall record of 16-5, and it really comes down for Michigan State. As long as Cassius Winston is on his game, they're going to win, which is kind of interesting because I didn't know how big of an impact Cassius Winston was going to have. I knew he was one of their top players ending last year and coming into this year, but I didn't know if he was going to have as big of an impact with some of the freshmen that were pulled in from Michigan or for Michigan State. They were able to keep Xavier Tillman, and they had another senior that they were able to keep in Joshua Langford. I don't know why I couldn't think of Langford. Langford stayed for his senior season, as did Cassius Winston. So that's good for Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo usually has that one senior that's going to help him out and be that leader of the team. He's got 2 this year. Langford is a great leader, and Cassius Winston is a great leader also. And Tillman is just a great player coming back for his junior year. He's probably going to go to the NBA after this season, I would assume, unless somehow Tom Izzo can talk him into being that senior for him. So right now, as the standings are, Michigan State is in first, Illinois is in second, Rutgers is in third in the Big Ten, Maryland, Iowa in fifth, Penn State, Wisconsin, Indiana, Minnesota, Purdue. Then we got Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska, and rounding off at the bottom of the pack for the Big Ten is Northwestern. And like I said, Michigan and Ohio State got off to good starts. At one point, Michigan was ranked 4th in the nation. And yeah, they beat Gonzaga, and they also beat I think it was North Carolina at the beginning of the season to boost themselves up to be that 4th ranking. They started out unranked. They are unranked currently. They started coming down to earth. Based off what Michigan has and who they lost last year, and the fact that John Beilein is gone, and now we got Juwan Howard. That's not to say like Juwan Howard's not a good coach or anything like that, but it's going to take him a second. When you take over our team, it's going to be difficult for the first year or two, maybe. And based off of how Juwan Howard's handled it, I think he's got some learning to do as a head coach, as would anybody who steps into that position. And it's going to take a minute, and we're going to have to wait a little bit to get to get all the oh my gosh. It's going to take us a while to start signing some big name stars, some 5-star recruits, some 4-star recruits. Once they start seeing that Juwan Howard is a good coach and a good basketball mind, those recruits should start coming in. That's the word I was looking for earlier, recruits. They'll start falling in line. But as of right now, Michigan's 3-6 in the conference, 12-8 overall, so not bad but not great. And they really started off hot, and then have I'd say plummeted back down to earth. And now they're playing how I expected them to be playing. But Ohio State is an interesting one because they were ranked 6th in the nation at one point, and they were regarded as one of the better teams in the Big Ten, somebody that could potentially keep Michigan State away from winning the championship. And same thing, they just started plummeting right when Big Ten play started happening. They went 3-6. They're 13-7 overall. So all their losses except one have came from the Big Ten, and they have not been doing so hot since. They're doing a little better than Michigan, slightly better, but not a whole lot. So we're still looking at Michigan State up at the top. And like I said earlier, as long as Cassius Winston is on his game, there's a really good chance that they're going to win. Cassius Winston hasn't had a good game where they lost yet. So usually when Cassius isn't on his game, the rest of the team can't pick up the slack for some reason. And I didn't think Cassius Winston was going to be that impact player, but he is that impact player. The Big Ten as of right now, as a whole, looks really, really good. They look like a really strong conference, as they usually do for basketball. But there are 6 teams ranked in the top 25, with MSU being at 14, the highest ranked in the Big Ten nationally. Maryland, 15, second highest ranking in the Big Ten. And then we got Iowa sitting there at 18, we got Illinois at 19, Penn State at 24, and Rutgers at 25. All those teams are ranked in the nation. Yeah, they're ranked low, but they're still ranked. And the only conference that the Bleacher Report had ranked higher than the Big Ten was the SEC, which makes sense because you got Kentucky, you got some underdogs like South Carolina is always one of those teams. Auburn is really good this year. It's going to be fun to see how the rest of the season shakes out. I do believe that Michigan State is going to ultimately end up winning the Big Ten, and they are going to be the best team from the Big Ten in the tournament. Who's to say how far they go, because we never know. They were ranked a 2 seed and lost to Middle Tennessee in the first round. We don't know. But that's when stuff gets fun. And we're not that far away from March. We got 2 days left of January and February. And then we're coming up. We're getting close to March Madness. So what do I think is going to happen? I think MSU is just going to run away with this Big Ten championship. I don't think Michigan or Ohio State will be able to catch them. I think Illinois could put some pressure on them, considering the fact that they are only a half game behind MSU right now with a conference record of 7-2. MSU's is 8-2. But that's about it. The Illini, they look decent. The Rutgers is kind of surprising though. They're doing good in conference play. They're 7-3. They're 16-5 overall, which that's pretty solid. It's a good look for you, Rutgers. They were named in the Bleacher Report article that I was reading earlier as an underdog that you wouldn't suspect. And, I mean, shoot, they're playing good, so that makes sense. But, like I said, Maryland can give them a good chance, too, against Michigan State. Maryland is a solid team through and through. It's just tough when you play in the Big Ten because everyone just beats up on each other, which is one problem that the Big Ten had for football year in and year out, with, for the longest time, Michigan State and Ohio State, and still Ohio State and Michigan trying to compete. Wisconsin too, but yeah, it's shaping up to be a real fun season for the Big Ten. Everything is pretty evenly packed until you start getting into the lower spots like the Ohio States, Michigan, Nebraska, and Northwestern. But everyone else at the top is really, really close, being within, I mean, the top 6 teams are within 2.5 games of each other. So it's going to shake out to be a really fun Big Ten season. It has been so far, and it probably will end up being very eventful. And yeah, MSU is they're gonna win the Big Ten, and it's gonna be fun to watch. They're a fun team to watch. They play smart basketball, and they're gonna continue to do so as long as Tom Izzo is at the helm, which there's no reason to say he won't be. So, if you guys like this video, give it a like. Easy for you, and it helps me. If you guys like any of my videos, subscribe. And if you guys want me to talk about anything, like whatever you guys want me to talk about, I'll try and talk about it. Just shoot a comment down below, whether it's an album you want me to listen to, a movie you want me to watch, a TV series, you know, who knows. But Tuesday, I'm going to be coming at you guys with my review of the last installment of season 6 of the whole series of BoJack Horseman. So that's what you guys got to look for Tuesday. Cam Gwynn, I'll talk to you later.